The new Zombies map, The Tomb, has just released in Black Ops 6 Zombies, and I'm going to give you a full guide on how to complete its Easter eggs solo or with other players. I'm Geothermals, and again, if you want to see more Black Ops 6, Black Ops 6 Zombies, or Warzone content like this, make sure to smash that subscribe button, leave a like, and turn on post notifications for future uploads. Let's get right into the guide. For the things we're going to want to bring in for this boss fight and this Easter egg as a whole, with the field upgrade side of things, we're going to be using Ether Shroud, and for its augments, bring in Group Shroud, especially if you're playing with other players, and also make sure you have extra charge as it allows us to have 2 Ether Shroud uses per person. Now for the Gobblegum side of things, I highly suggest you bring in Hidden Power, but if you don't have Hidden Power, that's okay. Just replace it with Cashback or Stock Option, Temporal Gift, Shields Up. A lot of that works. Along with that, I use Perkaholic in the gameplay you'll see in this guide here, but Soda Fountain definitely works. I would actually use Soda Fountain over Perkaholic with how many points we're going to be getting while we're getting ourselves set up for the boss fight. Along with that, for the boss fight itself, definitely bring in Power Keg or Arsenal Accelerator. This is a major must-have, as we're going to be using Ether Shroud quite a lot when we get rid of the HVT enemies. Along with that, definitely bring in Idolize. It is a massive and must-have Gobblegum for this boss fight, especially when we're dealing with a ton of blue and orange artifact enemies near the end of the boss fight. And finally, bring in Killjoy just to increase that overall damage output, especially near the end of the boss fight. That way you don't die to the boss's AoE attack. And finally, for the loadout, definitely bring in decoys. Those are really helpful, especially early on in the Easter egg. The drill is going to be our main source of damage to the orange artifact enemies to clear out the waves of zombies. And then the ASG is an amazing weapon, especially for the artifact boss itself. But a few other weapons like SMGs and ARs do work, and the GPMG, I believe that's the LMG, that one works as well. But if you do want my ASG class, you can pause the video right here and copy it down. Now for the Easter egg itself. Load into the game of the Tomb and stay in the spawn until around round 6 and farm points. Then you can go and open up the map in one go. Now you can take the left side or the right side. I take the left side, as you can see here. It's only 3 doors, but once you open up the 3rd door, you're going to see a pedestal with a purple crystal where the star is located for the mission. You're going to want to then interact with this, and the amulet will now open up a portal to nowhere. Now, I'm going to be calling Nowhere actually the Dark Ether here, as it's basically the Dark Ether. It shouldn't be called Nowhere, it just makes it more confusing. Now, if you do want to skip ahead to any point in this video or backtrack, I will have timestamps linked down in the description below. Once you've then entered the Dark Ether, you are now waiting on round 8, which is when a Shock Mimic is going to spawn. Kill this Shock Mimic, and it's going to drop a golden item called the Monocle. Pick this up, and this is going to be the first of 3 parts for crafting the Ice Staff, which is the wonder weapon on the Tomb. The next step in this Easter egg involves shooting these purple crystal lanterns located around the map that are on fire with a bullet weapon, until one is located in this room here, as you can see above me on the ceiling. When it is lit up, on the wall now on this cave painting, you'll see Roman numerals have now appeared. You're going to shoot these in numerical order. Now, I'm going to pause the video here for you, and I will list which symbol is which number. That way you can shoot them in numerical order. Again, you can pause the video to take a look at it now and take a note for yourself in the game. If done correctly, you will see all the symbols are now glowing green and connected on the wall. A purple-like orb will now spawn in front of it, and you are now in a lockdown phase where you're going to have to survive 4 to 5 waves of zombies, a few Doppleghast, and a couple Shock Mimics. This is actually incredibly easy, especially with how low of a round you can do this on. I've done it before without an upgraded weapon, but of course a pack-punched and upgraded weapon does make it a lot easier. Once you've done 4 to 5 waves of zombies, your screen will flash white, letting you know you've now completed this lockdown phase, and in front of the symbols you will see another piece of the Ice Staff and a max ammo for any of the ammo you lost during that lockdown phase. Now we have one more of these Constellation lockdown steps to go, and this one, again, you're going to have to shoot the purple crystal lanterns around the map with a bullet weapon until the lantern near depth perception in the footage here, as you can see, is lit up. Now on the painting right here with the bull, you're going to see Constellation or Roman numerals pop up again that you're going to have to shoot in numerical order, and I will pause the video once again, giving you what symbol corresponds to which number. When done correctly, you will see all the symbols light up green once again, and they are connected. A purple orb will pop up, starting the lockdown phase, and you'll again have to survive a few waves of zombies, a couple mimics, and a couple Doppleghast. When done correctly, again, your screen will flash white. You'll be able to go then pick up the final piece of the ice staff in front of the painting and a max ammo. Now that we've collected all the pieces for the ice staff, come into the dark ether and interact with the structure in the middle where the hole is, and when you interact with it, you are now going to start a little phase where you have to protect the ice staff while it is crafting. Now, this is just going to spawn in some vermin, zombies, and parasites. Now, near the end, it can get a little hectic, but defend it as well as you can, because on the left side of your screen, as you can see here, for me, there is a health bar for the ice staff when it's crafting. Do not let that drop down to 0 or you will fail, and you are going to have to re-attempt this crafting step again in the next round. Now, this is where Ether Shroud does come in handy, but really the decoys do come in handy here massively. If you do end up running out of armor or you get a little low, throw a decoy far away from the ice staff. You'll be able to clear out the zombies, and then you can re-armor, you can regenerate your health, and you can just clear out the zombies, making them all spawn right over again. Now, your screen will flash white if you know you've completed it. As you can see here, I barely did it. And once your screen flashes white, all the zombies will die, and you'll be able to go up to the ice staff and pick it up. And this is the wonder weapon for this map, and we are now on to the upgrade process for this thing, which we are going to need to do to get this Easter egg complete. The first step to upgrade the ice staff involves us shooting 3 of these purple crystals with the ice staff in 10 seconds. This will freeze them and give us a quote, which is the first step in upgrading it. Now, to get these guys close to each other, shoot them with a bullet weapon until they're located again within relatively close distance to each other. Once you're ready, then shoot the first crystal with your ice staff, then run over to that second one as fast as possible. Once you get that second one, as fast as possible, once again, run over to the third one, and if done correctly, you will see a quote that says, "Extinguish the flames, froze the crystals," which means you've then completed this step correctly. If you do fail this step, you're going to have to go back and shoot the crystals that you froze with a bullet weapon, relocate them, and attempt this step again with the ice staff. Now you're going to want to enter the dark ether and shoot 3 rocks with purple symbols that are going to be located somewhere in the sky. This will lower these rocks down and turn the symbols gold, letting you get a closer look at these symbols, which we're going to have to take note of which symbols we have in our game as they change every time. Once you've shot in all 3 rocks and you see each 3 of the gold symbols, again, make sure to take a good look at them. Now we're going to run around the dark ether as one of the 4 portals has now closed. What you're going to do is find that portal. As you can see, mine is the one near Jug, as you saw there. I am now going to have to come over through the spawn portal and run over to that portal near Stamina. Once I get to the portal, you will now see that there are purple symbols on this door here. You're going to shoot the symbols that you saw in the dark ether on the rocks that you shot. If done correctly, the symbols will be on the floor. If it is not done correctly, you will actually fall, and I'm pretty sure fall to your death. I'm not sure how to avoid this, but make sure you definitely take a good look at these symbols before you do end up shooting them. That way you get it right the first time. If done correctly, you will land on a rock here in front of this purple orb. Now we're going to want to interact with this purple orb, which will flash your screen white and slowly descend to the ground. Also, the rock that you're standing on will slowly flip on its side and put you onto the ground safely. We are now going to want to stay near this rock and feed it souls by killing the zombies that it spawns. Make sure to stay near it and kill as much as you possibly can. If you're doing this with multiple people in your game, they have to be near this orb in the dark ether with you, killing zombies. If they are not, this will end up failing the step and you're going to have to reattempt it again on the next round. Now, you're going to keep killing zombies, staying near it. You'll see that Doppleghast and shock mimics do spawn every once in a while when doing this. As long as you're managing the crowd of zombies and killing those Doppleghast and shock mimics, this isn't too bad, but it can get hectic. Especially near the end, an Amalgam spawns. Make sure to kill that thing right away, as it can be very annoying, especially near the end when the zombies do spawn in a little bit of a higher frequency at times. It will make a full loop around the Dark Ether, as you can see here, and then slowly make its way to the little structure in the middle that we originally crafted the Ice Staff in the beginning of the game. You'll then see that it flashes your screen white, and now you're going to want to interact with that purple essence in the structure with your Ice Staff. This will upgrade it, and you've now upgraded the Ice Staff permanently. This thing is incredibly good, and we need it for the following step, which involves 4 different trials. Now make sure that you've switched the back end of your staff, go up to this Vermin statue, shoot it, interact with it to pick up its essence, and bring it back to spawn. Place it in the beam coming from the little Vermin statue that you see where you spawn here in spawn. And now you're basically going to be feeding that statue souls from the vermin that spawn. Only vermin spawn during this trial, and it makes it incredibly easy if you're using the Ice Staff's charge shot. This thing is amazing for all the trials and really, really easy for any kind of high round on this map as well. The more vermin you kill, the faster this will be done. As you saw, there is a time limit, but if done correctly, your screen will flash white. Now go over to the statue, interact with it, and you'll pick up dark energy. Now you're going to have to bring that back to the statue where we started from, which is located in the Dark Ether. Now the portal that is closest to you, for that one is spawn, is closed. So you have to run to the closest portal, which is, for me, stamina. Now, as you see on the left side of your screen, there is health. You can only take 4 to 5 hits. If you take 4 to 5 hits, you will fail and have to reattempt this on the next round. Now for the next trial. Make sure to switch the back end of your staff, shoot the Parasite statue located across from the Vermin, interact with it to pick up its essence, and bring it over to Stamina, which is gone through the yellow portal over here, as you can see. Once you go through the portal completely, you will see a purple beam coming from the Parasite statue. Interact with it, and you'll start your second trial. For this trial, similar to Terminus, what we're going to have to do is actually kill purple parasites, which are going to be flying around periodically near the statue. When you kill them, they will drop a purple essence orb, which you're going to have to bring to the statue like a bank. Now, you're going to have to keep doing this as fast as possible, as if you don't bring enough souls to that statue, you will fail this step, and you'll have to attempt it again on the next round. If done correctly, as you can see, your screen will flash white, meaning, again, you've completed this trial. Once again, you're going to now have to go up to the statue to pick up its dark energy. The portal closest to you will close, as you saw that yellow portal we just took, and I'm going to use the spawn portal to get to the Dark Ether, as once again, we have to bring this dark energy back to the statue we originally got it from. Again, you have 4 to 5 hits. If you take too much damage, you have to attempt this trial again on the next round. Now, again, this can be a little, chaotic, especially if you're in the middle of a very high round. I'm lucky to be doing on a round 12, so it's pretty easy, but that is going to be 2 of the 4 trials done. Now for the next trial, which is going to be located across from the Parasite one, and this is going to be the Doppleghast. Shoot it with the back end of your staff, interact with it, and pick up its essence. Now we're going to take the green portal over here, which will take you near Speed Cola, and now we're going to interact with the Doppleghast statue, which will have a purple beam coming out of it over here. Once you do so, it will start the next trial, which is actually quite similar to the Vermin one, but can be a little finicky and difficult, especially if you're not killing the Doppleghast fast enough. For this trial, you're going to be killing as many Doppelghasts as fast as possible, basically feeding the statue once again souls. But you will see that the statue periodically shoots lasers on the ground out, don't deal damage to you, but at the end of the laser, it actually shoots out these little root-like spikes, similar to the Doppelghast actually does, and these can do some damage to you and your armor, but if done correctly, again, your screen will flash white, you'll go up to the statue, interact with it, pick up its dark energy, and now you're going to have to run to a nearby portal as the green one is closed. The red one, of course, that we interacted with the amulet is really close, so it makes it incredibly easy. Go through the portal as fast as possible, run over to the statue, place the dark energy, and just like that, the third of 4 trials is complete. Now for the 4th and final trial, which you're going to come over to this Amalgam statue, shoot it with the back end of your staff, then grab its essence and bring it down to the statue with the purple beam located near Quick Revive. This trial, if you ask me, might be the easiest trial, as all you have to do is spawn in and kill an HVT, which is not a normal elite, but an HVT version, so a harder and more difficult version of an Amalgam. Now, periodically during this little fight with the Amalgam, he will have a shield that will be tethered to a zombie nearby, and you're going to have to kill that zombie in order to break its shield and damage the Amalgam again. This one is incredibly easy, especially with a, good pack-a-punched weapon. As you can see, I only have a Pack 1 Legendary ASG, and this boss fight here, if you could call it a boss fight, was incredibly easy. Once you complete it though, pick up the dark energy from the statue once again. Now the red portal will be closed. I ran over to the stamina portal and go through the portal as fast as possible. Make sure not to take any hits. Once you go through, like usual, go over to the statue, place the dark energy, and just like that, you've completed all 4 trials successfully. After placing down the dark energy on the Amalgam statue, as you see here, what you're going to now be on is boss fight. We are on boss fight step now, but you're definitely going to want to do prepping before this, as this is not an easy boss fight. But you're going to come over to this little area here that you see a laser being shot at with 4 symbols that we just completed. Interact with that pedestal and a bridge will be formed. Now, as long as you don't cross that bridge and interact with the artifact, you will not start the boss fight. So again, make sure you do all your prepping before you go do that. You're going to want to come over to spawn like I do here. This is how I did it in solo, how I prepped. I basically just used the staff and was able to just train in the middle here, shooting its charged shot. Either it's 3 round or 6 round. It absolutely shreds and kills anything that tries to even get near you. But basically, I would go through as many rounds as possible. I went in, I believe, round 36, 37 in this footage here. But basically get as much salvage as you can, as you're going to want to bring in, I would say, a Mangler injection or a Mutant injection. That can help. I didn't use it in the footage for this boss fight here that's coming up, but make sure you have a self-revive. Make sure you do the gold plate side Easter egg. I highly suggest you do that. I'll have a video on how to do that Easter egg and how to cheese it, actually, tomorrow, hopefully. Along with that, make sure you buy all the perks you want. Along with that, make sure you have 2 Casimirs or Gersh devices. Those are very helpful. Make sure you have Insta-Kill, Power Keg, Idolize, or whatever Gobblegums you want to bring into this boss fight. Make sure you have some leftover points. Make sure you have a fully packed and upgraded ASG and fully packed and upgraded drill. And basically, once you have all that and your field upgrade ready and everything, your boss fight ready, just make sure you mentally prepare yourself, because this boss fight is very difficult. And if you do fail, I mean, it really does deprive you of any motivation to try it again, as again, it is a pretty difficult boss fight, and it can be frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. Once you are boss fight ready and you have mentally prepared yourself for the boss fight, cross the bridge, come over to the pedestal in the middle that you'll see the artifact slowly lowering down to, interact with it, your screen will go white, and you've now entered the boss fight. The first couple phases here are very easy. What I would do is crouch right next to the pedestal, as you can see here in this footage, and just hold down the charge shot and fire it at the pedestal when zombies get nearby. This is the easiest way to do this first phase. Eventually, the artifact will give off a little sound cue, and above, you will actually see it start glowing purple and begin shooting a purple beam at one of the statues. What you're going to want to do is shoot this thing with a bullet weapon of your choosing. Again, I bring in the ASG, and I suggest you do. Shoot it as fast as possible, and you'll see then that it'll stun lock and duplicate into 2 Sentinel artifacts. That is phase 1 complete. Now it will do that again, but there will be 2 artifacts this time, and you're going to shoot both of them as fast as possible. This is how you're going to be dealing damage to this boss. It is going to be the artifact. Every time you see a purple artifact, shoot it with that bullet weapon. As you can see, that is 2 phases complete already. Now for the 3rd and 4th phase. This is just before the boss fight gets difficult. As you can see, the 4 artifacts are now glowing purple, and you're going to want to shoot them as fast as possible. But you'll only be able to break one of them, as they will now go immune. That is phase 3 complete. Now you'll see an orange artifact slowly descend to the ground and spawn in an orange artifact zombie. This zombie is going to have increased health, increased damage, and increased speed. But with the Ice Staff, since it's a normal zombie, it makes it really easy to kill this thing. So either way, this is again right before the boss fight does get difficult, I will say. But once you kill that zombie, you'll see a purple artifact spawn, and you're going to want to damage that with a bullet weapon like I use here, the ASG. Melt it, and just like that, more than half of this boss fight's health is down, and that is phase 4 complete. Now for the next phase, eventually you'll see an orange artifact Doppleghast spawns. This is when the difficulty significantly ramps up. As you can see, orange artifact zombies are no joke. They will stun lock you, they do tons of damage. I didn't realize at first, but this is when you activate Ether Shroud, pull out that drill, and shred it. Now take out a bullet weapon and damage that purple artifact that spawns right away. Now there will be one thing I want to mention there. As you see, each wave that we complete, the former zombie that we just killed that was an artifact becomes a blue artifact zombie. These zombies actually one-shot you, so you have to be very, very careful with how close you get to them and when or if they are nearby. Just be very careful and mindful of your surroundings during each one of these phases. As you can see, the previous phase that we just completed is repeated once again, so just play it out like you did before with Ether Shroud and the drill, and then shred the purple artifact. The next phase ramps up the difficulty even more, as we now have a blue artifact Doppleghast, a blue artifact zombie, a normal amalgam, and an orange artifact shock mimic, which is our primary target, as that's how we're going to be damaging the boss. This is where Power Keg or Arsenal Accelerator comes in handy, as we can get another charge from killing zombies or another free charge as a whole with Ether Shroud. Once you do have that Gobblegum popped or you have your Ether Shroud ready, use it, go over that Mimic, and absolutely shred it with the drill. Do it as fast as possible. Once it's dead, make sure you pull out your bullet weapon and deal damage to that artifact. As you can see, Gershes are handy as it protected me from this amalgam so I can deal damage to the artifact. But once you've done that, you have one more phase where it is incredibly difficult, and then it does get a little easier in the last phase. So one more phase, you got this. For this next phase where it gets really difficult, we are now going to have a blue artifact Doppleghast, zombie, and shock mimic chasing after us trying to stun lock us. We also have a normal amalgam, and our final target, as you can see, an orange artifact HVT amalgam. This is where Idolize is huge. Pop Idolize, use your drill, and go melee that amalgam. As you can see though, I do go down as the artifact does damage to me, but that's okay as long as you crouch underneath it here. If you're in this arena, you can deal damage to this amalgam. I was able to kill it. I took out my bullet weapon after a little panic here, as you can see, shredded it, and just like that, it'll despawn all those zombies besides the normal amalgam, normal zombies, and normal Doppleghast. You're just gonna have to get rid of these, but just like that, you've gotten through the really difficult part of this boss. Now for the final phase of this boss fight, and you have to really lock in for this last phase. If you do not lock in and deal enough damage to this final artifact boss, as you can see, it's going to fly into the door here as all the other ones that we just killed laser it. If you do not deal enough damage to it as fast as possible, you will end up failing, as it releases an AoE attack that will kill everyone and everything in the arena, no exceptions. This is where insta-kill is huge and can be really, really handy. As long as you're careful though, and your team, or as long as you're managing those zombies, as you can see I am here, and slowing them with the Ice Staff, as long as you do that and you're able to get enough damage in on this artifact as fast as possible, you will be able to beat this boss. Just make sure you deal enough damage as fast as possible, and like that, you've now beat the Tomb Easter egg solo or with other players. Congratulations. This is by far one of the hardest boss fights in recent Black Ops history, with the only competition in the past 2 games here being the Legion Outbreak boss fight from Black Ops Cold War. Either way though, I hope you enjoyed this guide and you found it helpful, and that you guys are able to beat this Tomb Easter egg. It is a lot of fun and a really big relief and a big accomplishment if you are able to beat it. Either way though, that's going to do it for this video. If you want to see more Black Ops 6, Black Ops 6 Zombies, or Warzone content like this, make sure to smash that subscribe button, leave a like, turn on post notifications for future uploads. As always, I'm Geothermals. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.